YouTube, it's Monday, so Tele Tuesday time. I've done a fair amount of videos of this, probably not one for the last year or 6 months. This is my chender, Telecaster. See, it's made in the USA. Yeah. So I bought this the second time I went to China. First time I brought back a guitar I sold, which I should probably buy another one of. A sort of brown, a wooden double bound telly, which is pretty cool. So that my second time I went over, I bought a thin line telly for myself, and the plan was I was going to buy the thin line telly for myself and then just buy the cheapest telly I could find, and then hopefully when I came back, brought the two of them back, I could sell the cheapest telly I could find and end up getting the thin line free, basically. Was the plan. And the thin line was pretty damn good, but for some reason this one, it's amazing. It's not the cheapest telly I could find. The cheapest telly I could find was about £4 less than this, and it was just a boring normal one, whereas this one has a cool sort of, I don't know, sort of a fake abalone bound top. It's got a scoop here, it says Fender branded, and it's got a tortoiseshell scratch plate. So really my only stipulation was I was just going to try and get the nicest, cheapest telly I could. You know, I could have got like a black and white one or whatever. I think it was £4 less. And so this was just to be bought and sold, and I ended up liking it an awful lot. Just so I had to keep it. I sold the thin line instead. Thin line would be worth an awful lot more money because it's a bit more interesting. It's a really cool thin line. If you look back at my videos, maybe about 3 or 4 years when I first got this, you know, it's got an F-hole, an interesting shaped scratch guard, and unlike most thin lines, which I'm not really that keen on, this one had like the metal telly plate and a solid, you know, like the proper type of bridge. A lot of the times you get a thin line, it's got like, you know, the big plastic scratch plate with the sort of Les Paul type controls, and for that it just doesn't do it for me. Yeah, so unfortunately it's a fake one. Obviously it was a fake Fender. It's even got a serial number on it. Actually, the serial number that's on it, although I'm pretty sure it does ring up as an exact as a correct serial number for a Fender guitar of some sort. It was exactly the same serial number that was on the thin line that I got at the same time. It's got a wee bit of flame in the neck there. It got a lovely, quite chunky maple neck, but it's the fact that it's super glossy really gets me, and people don't like super glossy necks. You know, it's like, oh, you want the satin one? No, you want slabs of gloss on it to make it feel and look cool, or as the way I'm looking at it. So this was my first telly. In fact, it might still be my only telly that's actually proper telly layout. You know, telly pickup in the neck, telly pickup in the bridge. I have done a little bit of mods to it, but straight out the box, this was pretty good. The tuners were the weak point on it. I think they were actually Fender branded, but obviously not real Fender. They were just a bit, when you turned them, they worked and they stayed in tune, but when you turned them, they were a bit sort of crunchy. You could sort of feel that the gears in it maybe didn't quite work quite well. You know, they're maybe slightly out of sync. So I put these actual Fender tuners on it. I think these are from a Mexican Strat, a Mexican telly or a Mexican Strat. I can't remember where I got them from. I think I got them in a parts lot, which are fine. Actually, that one there looks a little bit squint. There you go. So apart from that, it's stock, and I put in a push-pull switch, which it bypasses the three-way switch and gives you the two of these wired in series, which gives you a big humbucker, which is a really good mod, but an incredibly complicated mod to do. It's not like a coil split or a Gilmore switch where it's like, oh, 2 wires and a switch. No, this involves actually cutting the three-way switch in half with a hacksaw. Yeah, so it's a bit mad, but the plus point of that is if you didn't know that button pulled up, it's just a stock telly and you would never know any different. I actually even bought, when my girlfriend came over from China the following time after I'd come back with this, she brought a guitar for me, and she brought me one exactly the same as this, apart from it didn't have the Fender logo on it. And I'll go for consistency. The other one, I sold that one, was pretty much identical. It's not like there was a huge variance between the two. It was pretty much the same guitar, which is nice, because I was kind of wondering if I'd maybe just, you know, totally lucked out and happened to buy, you know, like maybe 1 in 100 is pure amazing, and I'd got that one. But I mean, I've had 2 of them and they were both exactly the same, of this model. It's made by, it's from the Fire Eagle factory. But smashing guitar. Not the. I'm trying to think how many new guitars I've ever bought. I bought a couple of new acoustics years ago. A couple of Yamaha, a Yamaha 6-string and a Yamaha 12-string acoustic brand new. I bought my Epiphone SG brand new. And then that's kind of all the guitars I've ever bought new, apart from when I was in China. And this is no longer the cheapest one because I bought, last time I was over, I think I've still got one over there because I couldn't bring it back in the plane. Actually, I was physically hand them to my girlfriend in the airport to get my baggage down. So sort of no cutaway Les Paul. It was cheaper than this, but not much. I mean, once you get down to, you know, this is the sort of price you're really talking about. You know, it's insane what they cost in China. You know, you're talking about packet strings, a strap and a lead, or a Telecaster type price. You know, pure ridiculous. The special series are actually all right. It really goes to show just how much money that they must make on, you know, your Squire Classic Vibe and stuff like that. You know, it's like, what are they, 200, 300 quid? So you start looking at it thinking on a £300 guitar, like 270 of it is profit. Something like that. You know, obviously by the time it goes through shops and then Fender gets their cut and all that stuff. But I mean, what they're actually paying for at the factory, plus if you're buying 1,000 of them, you'll obviously get them cheaper than what I paid for this, just buying one. Although my girlfriend did cheat a little bit by telling the guy in the factory that I was like I was a UK importer and I was maybe going to be buying a pallet of them, so that might have edged him towards giving me a slightly better one. But when I said when I got the second one, it was exactly the same, apart from it didn't have the Fender logo. I was a wee bit disappointed with that one because I asked for it without the logo, and basically obviously it had a logo and they'd just given a wee bit of sandpaper on it to take it off, so there was a sort of bald bit where the logo should be, and it's like, if I had the option to buy it before they put the transfers on, I would totally go for that. But I mean, I don't think this is a dangerous one in the sense of it's not like that the Gibson Les Paul. Actually, if anyone's interested in that Gibson Les Paul I did, you know, the one with the crazy amazing fretboard, that one, the guy's actually selling it, so give me a message. I need to ask him again. I think it was $250, or I think it might actually be $200 he wanted for it. It was a bit safer because you kind of knew, looking at that if it was a Gibson it'd be a £5,000 guitar. If you looked up at it close, you could sort of see it wasn't a £5,000 guitar, although you could still get ripped off. Whereas something like this is much harder. I mean, I could tell that it wasn't a real Fender, but not easily, because the quality level's right up there. It's, I mean, I don't know if it's actually a copy of a specific Fender model, but it's just like the wee touches, like the binding in the top, the tortoise scratch plate, and the thingy. My stipulation for and it's also got a belly contour. My stipulation for picking up the cheapest tele I could find was I wanted one with a maple neck because I wasn't sure about the sighties thing, but I prefer maple necks anyway. I wanted an ashtray bridge, and I wanted it to be through strung. So there was other options. You know, you could get ones that were, you know, maybe humbuckers. If you ever go to Taobao, TABO.com, I assume, or wherever it is, that's the sort of Chinese equivalent of Amazon, and they've got them on there. You have to Google Translate, but just a warning, if you do manage to get onto that, I think I had to create an account. If you do manage to get onto that, I just expect to spend hours when you find this factory looking at all the guitars they do and going, wow, and some of them are just look amazing. Like this one, it's brilliant, you know, fantastic. And then you get ones that are just like, why would somebody build that? There's one, it's through neck, right? Like kind of like that sort of idea, you know, where you can see the neck coming through the body with the wings stuck on it. You're thinking that's pretty good, and then it's got like no bridge pickup, right? So it's got like a tunematic bridge, one single coil pickup, and a Bigsby, and you're just like, wow, it's such a strange combination. And some of them, they do relic ones that look awful, because obviously if you're producing a guitar for buttons, you know, you don't have time to spend a lot of time making it relic. So it's just like belt sander, next kind of thing. I wouldn't bother going for the relic ones. Anyway, 10 minutes of talking, so here we go. Wee Laney, VC15, playing through that cabinet, no pedals on. Hope this holds tune, because it's been sitting unplayed since probably winter last time I had it. I needed to adjust the neck a little bit, so we've now got a little bit of clearance in it, so it's bridge pickup. Both pickups, which is also a sound I really like. Done more tele-ish. And then the neck pickup, which I only recently was a sort of convert to, much quieter and much more mellow, but I'm kind of getting the hang of it now. Much more grown up sound, I think. And then if we pull out my special switch, which bypasses the three-way and just puts them into humbucker, it goes up a fair bit. That's quite a volume jump. Neck pickup. Oops. Humbucker. Now even if you look at it, so if I go into the middle position, this is the two pickups wired in series. These are hum cancelling, by the way, which is why this works. So let's say both pickups in series, so you've got your humbucker. And then this is both the same two pickups but in parallel. So that's quite a good indication of what the difference between series and parallel is between two pickups. Total amazing tele sound. pedal. Sound with the neck pickup on this guitar than it is from the bridge. done, I'm just going to put it over the buzz pedal. With the buzz pedal, just because I'm enjoying playing this. great fun guitars. I'm seriously considering, well, it's kind of my, obviously plans have gone on hold a bit, but my plan was I was going to maybe start up my own, not a guitar company, but maybe buy a pallet of these, get them branded with my own name on them or something like that. You know, and then maybe modify them, maybe with this switch, although that's probably going to be quite a difficult thing to do, but I quite fancy trying to do that at some point, you know, maybe investing a wee bit in it, because I think this, and basically just copy this guitar. There's enough in it to make it that little bit more interesting than like a standard tele. You know, if you compare it, I mean, I've got an Affinity tele through next door, which the guy's still not picked up. Sorry, I'm not criticising him. Doesn't make any difference to me if it sits there. So it's a little bit more interesting than your standard fare, you know, just because it's got the slight differences with having the thing, the tortoise plate, the extra sort of cutaways, the sort of player features, I think you'd call them, and the cool binding on the top, which to be honest, I've never actually seen on another guitar. It's not abalone. I mean, obviously we're comparing it to this. I'm going to be able to get this down without knocking it over. Yeah, aye. So that's abalone there. Is it going to go into? It's not going to focus on it, is it? So probably in a really bad picture quality like this, you can't see how sparkly and 3D and obviously made of shell the abalone is on this one, but compared to this, which is clearly just some sort of rainbow plastic, this one is it doesn't, to be honest, it doesn't look bad. It's just not going to want to focus on it. It doesn't have the 3D-ness. It's very obviously plastic, but it's still pretty cool. I like it. So, and the pickups in this are stock. I would have changed them. I've actually got a Bill Lawrence pickup, tele pickup sitting in my parts box, which I've not put in anything yet, that I was going to stick in this. But the thing is, it sounds really good, and it's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I kind of like the idea of, okay, it's got the Fender tuners now, but see, to be honest, these Fender tuners probably cost more than the whole guitar did. So it's like I was playing, you know, the ultimate super cheap guitar, which I kind of found a wee bit of a perverse pleasure in that. But I didn't have to do any fretwork on this, or like that. Basically, all I had to do was put new strings on it, and I changed the tuners partly because I had a set of these sitting there. I think actually I might have put the old ones onto, you know, like a guitar I was selling for, you know, 30 quid or something like that. You know, sort of, not a shit guitar, because I made it play, but you know, if I'm selling a guitar for sort of 50 quid or something like that, it'll play alright. You know, I won't sell one that won't play, but it's never going to be absolutely fantastic. I think the tuners from this went on that. You know, it was one of those things that this guitar didn't have tuners. It was like, well, I can either put these Fender ones I've got on it, or I can put the ones off this guitar on it. So I did that. So I think somebody's got a guitar that's probably got Fender branded tuners. I mean, they weren't bad. They still went in tune. I would probably not have bothered changing them. I didn't change them for like 2 years because they were fine. Just that they were a little bit crunchy, and it was like, yeah. I had the opportunity to upgrade for not much, so I did it. But if you're thinking of buying these sort of things off AliExpress or something like that, it's a hard thing to judge, because I really don't know what it is you're going to get. I'm not sure that the reason I've said this in all the Chinese Fender and such guitars, because I was actually in China getting them delivered to a Chinese address. They were in full knowledge that basically if the guitar wasn't really good, it was getting sent back. Whereas if you're buying it from China and getting it sent to the US or the UK, they know you're not going to send it back because you've spent more money on postage than you did on the guitar. So maybe they won't send you such a good one, or it might get damaged in the post, or blah 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 blah. So next time I come back from China, it's likely I'll have maybe a couple of these, because they're really good. They don't want one. It's like, as far as teles go, I'm quite happy with this one, and it's is it the cheapest tele I've got? Well, I can't really argue. I mean, some of the things that I'm calling teles, I made it 2 planks of wood. So, okay, it maybe didn't cost as little as them, seeing as that, you know, if I took money for, you know, my time for making it, then yes, this is the cheapest tele I've got, and it's one of my favourites. I think there's something about a tele being cheap it just sort of goes with the telly thing, you know, the sort of workman-like two things stuck onto it, although technically this with the extra cutaways is a little bit more deluxe than a normal telly. Great fun. Oh, so I end up talking for half an hour on a guitar I've played before. Hey, I'm enjoying myself. You'll notice I've got a wee bit of a range. It's really weird having this bit here. That's where my double neck normally sits. But there's a reason for this. Hopefully tomorrow, fingers crossed, I should be getting a delivery, and that's what this hook here's for. Because if you notice, I've gone sort of there's a distinct theme going on here. So you can probably guess what goes in there. And if you look at that and that, and then you look at that and what's not there, and probably have a pretty good guess at what should be arriving tomorrow. So I might even do an unboxing video, because I know for a fact it's my pal picked up a guitar for me, or a bass in Denmark, and I told him not to clean it. The thing's absolutely manky, so I'm going to possibly do an unboxing video, because I've never seen one in person. I've seen them a few times on eBay, not a lot of times. It'll be interesting to see what it's actually like, even just going from a picture. Yeah, so half an hour of talking. Fantastic. Cheap telly. I have actually used this in the studio with Cranking House and it was rocking excellent. It's just, the reason I wasn't really feeling it the same way is because I wasn't playing something really stupid. It's like the guys in the band are like, up here, oh, a Fender Telecaster. Like, I don't want you to know what I'm playing. I want to turn up with, oh, what's that? And you're like, up here, well, this is, only made in 1985 and blah, 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 I like the sort of the obscureness of a lot of the guitars I buy. This is a bit boring, but in saying that again, as far as tellies go, it's not a boring one because it's got some interesting things on it. It's like, so it's an interesting telly. If it was like a Fender, like a Squier or a Fender, I think this would be a big selling guitar just by its looks. Also, I've got my Scooby-Doo strap on it, which I really liked. I nearly bought another one last week. I think the company's gone under, but it was East Kilbride is where it was made, or it was where it was packaged and it says made in East Kilbride on the package. So I'm kind of looking for another one. I don't know what company it was that made it. It's got a TM after Scooby-Doo, so they must have had some sort of license, maybe. I quite liked it just because it was a bit silly. Decent quality straps if you can get one of these. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a screwdriver in there and open up the wee knurled bit on the volume, the tone pot, just so that it's not quite so easy to pull off, because it doesn't quite, it's not too bad. Maybe get used to it. It's just dead easy to pull the knob off on this one. I don't really want to be putting super glue on it or anything like that. But smashing. Rock on, see you tomorrow.